How to start a conversation with a girl over text. Texting can be a bit daunting, but fear not. We've got some practical tips and strategies to help you initiate a conversation and keep it going smoothly. So, let's get started. Before we jump into the conversation starters, it's essential to keep in mind a few general guidelines. First, be yourself. Authenticity is key, and pretending to be someone you're not won't lead to a genuine connection. Second, always be respectful and considerate. Treat the person you're texting with kindness and show genuine interest in getting to know them. Lastly, don't be afraid of rejection. Not every conversation will lead to a lasting connection, and that's okay. Now, let's move on to the conversation starters. When starting a conversation with a girl over text, it's important to grab her attention right away. Here are 3 effective ways to do that. First, you can use a personalized opener. This means starting the conversation with something that shows you've taken an interest in her. For example, if you know she's into photography, you could say something like, "Hey, I stumbled upon this amazing photo gallery, and it reminded me of your passion for photography. How did you get into it?" This approach shows that you've paid attention to her interests and are genuinely curious to learn more. Second, you can start with a lighthearted question or observation. For instance, if you've recently watched a funny movie, you could say, "Hey, I just watched the funniest movie. Have you seen it? What's your favorite comedy?" This approach can spark a playful conversation and allows you to find common ground. Lastly, you can begin with a shared experience or event. For instance, if you both attended a concert or an event, you could say, "Hey, I had a blast at the concert last night. What did you think of the performance?" This approach allows you to connect on a shared experience and provides an easy way to start the conversation. Great! Now that we've covered how to initiate the conversation, let's talk about keeping it going. Here are some tips to help you maintain an engaging conversation over text. First, be an active listener. Show genuine interest in what she's saying by asking follow-up questions and expanding on the topics she brings up. This shows that you value her thoughts and opinions. Second, don't be afraid to share something personal about yourself. Opening up a bit can create a sense of trust and intimacy, making the conversation more meaningful. Just remember to keep it balanced and not dominate the conversation entirely. Third, use humor when appropriate. Making her laugh is a great way to keep the conversation light and enjoyable. Share funny anecdotes or send her a light-hearted meme that relates to your conversation. However, be mindful of her sense of humor and avoid offensive or sensitive jokes. Lastly, avoid being too clingy or bombarding her with messages. Give her time to respond and don't rush the conversation. Respect her boundaries and don't take it personally if she doesn't reply immediately. Everyone has different schedules and commitments, so be patient. Alright, we're almost done, but before we wrap up, let's quickly touch on a few common mistakes to avoid when starting a conversation with a girl over text. First, don't send generic or boring messages like "Hey" or "What's up?" These types of messages don't provide much substance and make it harder for the conversation to take off. Second, don't come across as too pushy or demanding. Respect her space and allow the conversation to flow naturally. Avoid bombarding her with multiple messages if she hasn't replied yet. Lastly, avoid using excessive abbreviations or slang that might be unclear or confusing. While some shorthand can be okay, using proper grammar and spelling shows that you're making an effort and taking the conversation seriously. And there you have it. Starting a conversation with a girl over text doesn't have to be intimidating. By using personalized openers, maintaining an engaging conversation, and avoiding common mistakes, you can create a meaningful connection. Remember, be yourself, be respectful, and don't be discouraged by rejection. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future content. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comments section below.